All right, hello, and welcome back to another car conversation. Well, I'm quite sure you all have heard and have seen that uh, Joe Biden has dropped out of the race, the presidential race, and he has officially um, passed the baton to Kamala Harris. He's endorsed Kamala Harris. Um, so let's talk a little bit because if you watch the previous videos, you know how I felt about this situation and you know the reasons why I was hesitant and had reservations about her being able to be successful. And that did not go away. That did not go away with this announcement. But what I will tell you is that recently we have seen an event that occurred during one of 45's rallies that still has questions and it still goes unexplained. We don't have a ballistic report. We don't have we have a medical report signed by somebody who is no longer has a medical license and who has already lied to us when he served as 45's doctor the previous time and told us that 45 could live until he's 200 years old. We have Ronnie Jackson. I signed off on some document and he doesn't even have his medical license anymore. We have 45's son and also another doctor at this hospital saying that 45 didn't receive any stitches after getting wounded by a gunshot from an AR-15. We have that. We have information that this individual, the shooter, used a drone, that this shooter climbed up on a building that was at first had police officers in it. And now we're being told that there were police officers in an adjacent building that were on the second floor that had windows that could see the top of the building that the shooter was on. But nobody saw the shooter until they were alerted to the shooter being on the building. Then we got that there was one cop who tried to get on top of the building. The gun was turned on him, so he dropped down. He went to go radio in, and then that's when the shooter started shooting. We have information that the shooter went to the location before. We have video of the shooter in the background moving around, people pointing him out and reporting him. And yet and still, time elapsed. There were several reports. There was all of this, there were all of these opportunities to stop this event from occurring. And I'm purposefully using the word event because to me, all the information that has been provided only gives me more questions and more pause as to what actually did we see go down? What actually do they want us to think and see? So that happened. We also have recently, I'm not going to go back to the debate, but we also have recently, Joe Biden contracted COVID, which a lot of people around me even are doing as well. And we saw Democrats come out, and it was like Democrat on Democrat crime, in my opinion, just trashing Joe Biden. And here's what I'm going to say. I just really want Democrats, DNC, Democrats in DC, everybody, I want you to really pay attention to how no matter what 45 has done, and I'm not saying it's right, but no matter what he has done, what evidence or proof we have of the rape, the sexual assaults, the grab women by the pee and they'll let you do it, there have been indictments, there have been 34 convictions, there have been impeachments, there have been, you know, all kinds of things. And these people still line up behind him, ready to vote for him. But you had Joe Biden have one bad debate, and people were jumping ship left and right, which leads me to believe that they already wanted to jump ship. We had AOC come out and she was spilling the tea left and right about what top Democrats were saying. And they were talking about donor. They weren't talking about the voters. They were talking about what the donors want, what the donors feel should happen, because they're focused on money. They're not focused, and they'll throw out the polls, you know, oh, people, the polls are saying this, the polls are saying that. Again, I'm a person who pays attention to politics every day, and I'm not responding to it. I haven't responded to, well, maybe a few recently when they were really just bashing Joe Biden. But before that, I wasn't responding to any of the polls. I get multiple polls every day, and I wasn't responding to them. So I need you to verify who's responding to these polls, because I suspect the people that were responding to these polls were not the people that you intended to poll in the first place. But with all that being said, what I do want to say to you is the only way Kamala is going to win, the only way we can save democracy, is if people continue to focus on Project 2025. Again, like I told you with Joe Biden, I said, take him out of it, put your name into it. See your freedoms, see your civil rights, see your ability to have autonomy over your own body. See that, and that's how you should vote. Now, I am not saying, I'm actually telling all of you to get on board and get behind, and we got to go to work to get Kamala Harris in office. But for those of you, the rest of you that have reservations, you don't want to vote for a woman. You don't believe that a woman should lead the country. You're not ready for that yet. You're against a Black woman. And if you're going to vote for any woman, it would have been Hillary in 2016, but y'all still didn't vote for her. If you're pro-life, but you're also pro-democracy, I need you to lean into the pro-democracy in this moment. If you are, you know, that person that likes to tout your one Black friend and you know, I'm not a racist, prove it, and vote for Kamala Harris. Like, we need everybody to rise up. It's an all hands on deck situation, because I want you to really pay attention to, I want you to read Project 2025. These people mean you harm. If you're not a white, heterosexual, Christian, their version of Christian, male, they mean you harm. I cannot emphasize that enough. So if you're anybody outside of what I just named, they mean you harm. So you need to get on board with the rest of us and start working for pushing. I don't care if that's phone calls, I don't care if that's postcards, I don't care if that's, you know, you go work a booth, get people registered to vote. If you go, you know, canvassing around your neighborhood, talking to your friends, relatives, calling people up, texting people, whatever it is, you need to get on board, because we are in a fight against Project 2025. And JD Vance, don't think JD Vance was not a specific choice, because Tim Scott was out here coning and kissing ass and boot licking more than anybody could have ever done. And they were never going to pick him because he's Black. I'm going to say it out loud. They were never going to pick him because he's Black. They were never going to select Vivek Ramaswamy, no matter how far right he went, they were not going to select him. JD Vance has been groomed since this Teal guy was called up and say, hey, we need you to take care of this guy. We need to make sure that you hook him up once he leaves, or I don't know if he might have hooked him up getting into Yale Law School as well. We need to make sure he's hooked up into a great job so he can make some money. We need to make sure so this Teal guy has been funding him and pushing him through. You want to look at a true DEI candidate? Look at JD Vance. JD Vance has not earned shit that he's gotten in his entire life. So if you want to talk about didn't earn it, look at JD Vance. But why is he there? Because they have figured out that JD Vance will go along with whatever helps him advance. JD Vance is for JD Vance, advancing. The same way 45 is. I think 45's fight is a little different because 45 is trying to stay out of prison. So you got a convicted felon over here, a classic narcissistic sociopath. Apparently, you got another narcissist and potentially sociopath in JD Vance as well. And you got Kamala Harris, and it doesn't matter who she asked to join her ticket. Again, we are in the fight for our livelihood, our freedoms, autonomy over our own bodies. Some people that work in the government, you are in a fight for your career and your job. Project 2025 addresses you as well. We are in a fight for our Social Security. We are in a fight for our Department of Education, for our children to get a good quality education if they go to public schools. We are in a fight for all of the departments that protect us from letting us know what foods are safe to eat, making sure our water is clean, our air is clean. We are in a fight for that. So I cannot emphasize enough to you. Kamala Harris is at the top of the ticket. I'm going to support her full-heartedly, just like I supported the Biden-Harris ticket back in 2020. I'm going to do all that I can do to make sure she gets in office. Because for me, I'm looking at not only my freedoms, protecting my livelihood, protecting autonomy over my own body, protecting my decisions in regards to what type of relationship I want to stay in or not, protecting rights to contraceptives, protecting rights to, we got to even protect recreational sex, y'all. Come on. Like literally there's no component of your life that is not addressed in Project 2025. So I don't care what your hangup is. I don't care what your thought process is in regards to a woman, a Black woman, a biracial woman, a former prosecutor, whatever notion you can concoct in your head to be against her. I'm not even going to try with you racist people, but get on board. This is an all hands on deck situation. This is a situation where we've got to shoot. We got one shot to shoot and we can't miss. We cannot afford to miss. Period.